everyone. Today I am going to share with you my recently completed project on big data, which is nurse trust data analysis and predictions. So to complete this project, I used AWS, specifically S3 and EMR services, followed by PySpark for data processing and React.js to present the findings in the form of a dashboard. So, looking at the dataset, it contains approximately 11.5 million entries. The collection includes physiological data and survey results from 15 female nurses. It comprises of electrodermal activity, heart rate, and skin temperature. So the basic architecture is that the data will be saved in the S3 buckets, which can be done manually or uploaded from the dashboard. Then to process the data, PySpark scripts are added to the EMR cluster, which will be initiated when the cluster starts up. And upon successful and when successfully executed, the results will be stored in the same S3 bucket as the data. The UI then will fetch and present these outputs in the form of various charts. So now let's look at the project execution. So this is the dashboard which is created using React.js and Chart.js as I mentioned earlier. So there are two tabs. One is the dashboard and other is the predictions. So let's first have a look at the backend part. So this is my S3 bucket and this is how the folder structure looks like. Here inside the data, I have my data set. Then in the code section, I have my various PySpark scripts. And then for storing the output, I have multiple folders. So here if we see output 3, here I have bar chart data, and patient bar. So these are the different um, what we can say like these are the different predictions or analysis done after processing the data data set. So this is how the S3 bucket looks like. Then we have the EMR cluster. So we have to do various configurations for setting up the cluster. Here you can see the instances running in the background. Then we can add bootstrap actions. So basically in bootstrap actions we need to add the libraries which we want to install for running our PySpark script. So that we have to add. Then in the steps you can add the PySpark script. So whenever the cluster is started, in that case it will run the steps. But in my case, I am initiating the scripts manually on the terminal. I will make a different video to explain how we have to configure the EMR cluster and what all properties we should be adding and how many instances we should be using, what all keys we need to add it to start the cluster. So for that I will make a separate video and how to and the important thing is how to start it. So here we have two options using like whenever we open it, here we have like based on if it is windows, then it is a different process, different set of steps are there. And if it's Mac, then the process is different. So for this I'll make a different video. Currently my cluster is running and let me show you the PySpark scripts which I have already initiated. So you can see this. Next, let's see the dashboard. So this is the dashboard, patient data analysis. So this is just the normal chart, which gives like for the 15 nurses, what is the electrodermal activity, what is the value for the electrodermal activity, what is the heart rate, what is the temperature, and the speciality of these charts are they are dynamic. So suppose if I don't want to, I just wanted to compare EDA and temperature, so I can just cut down the heart rate and it will show me like this. I can get it back again. I can cut down the temperature. Now I can cut down EDA. Now you can see just the temperature and heart rate values. So basically this is normal chart which is telling me for a particular nurse the electrodermal activity value is 87, the temperature is 29, and if I check the heart rate, so it's very, for this patient it is 5.649. Sorry, not patient, nurse, yeah. Then yeah, similarly I have plot the bar chart, scatter plot, and histogram chart. Since the data is very huge, the data set approximately has 11.5 million entries, so it will take time to load. So dashboard, basically dashboard is in the dashboard I'm just displaying various physiological data of the nurses. If we see the bar chart here, we can on the x-axis it's 1, 2, and 0. So basically these are the stress levels. These are denoting the stress levels, and whoever having the stress level as 1 has the average temperature as 31, has the average heart rate as 86, and average EDA value as 3.069. So it denotes that. And here we can see we have got the comparison between electrodermal activity versus heart rate and EDA versus temperature. So let me just cross down one. So here we can see the comparison. Yeah. Next we have histogram. So this is the orientation data. So we have got the data for histogram chart, and here we can see the values. Now let's go to the predictions part. Let me fetch the data for this. So as it is stating that the data is divided into 70-30% ratio. So 70% of data is used to train the model, and 30% of data is used to test the data. And based on that we are predicting, we are doing some predictions on the test data. So this is the test data. So this is how the data set looks like. X, Y, Z are the orientation values, like the heart rate, temperature, and ED activities these are measured using some device. So XYZ are the various orientation of that device, and then we have ID of that particular nurse, then date and time, and label. So label basically gives me what is the stress level of that particular nurse. So this data is already there, like stress values are already there for the 15 nurses. So this is my training data, this is my test data. So using this training data, I tried to train the model, and after training that, I used this stress data, test data, to to calculate, to predict the stress levels. And here we can see actual versus predicted, the comparison. So for the first patient, actual value was 2, and model has given me the prediction as 1. Actual for the second nurse, it's 1 and 1, then 1 1. Here we can see for the other nurse it's 2, and here also it is 2. So 1, then 2, 2 and 1. It is not predicting the exact values, but it is giving me the predictions nearly same. So yeah, this was all about the no stress data analysis and predictions project. In the next video, I will try to cover how to create the EMR cluster and how to set up the S3 bucket, create the cluster, start the cluster, and also we have to initiate the instances which we add into that cluster. I hope you guys like this video, and also in my next video I'll try to show the code. I'll try to explain what all code, what all model I have wrote, and how I have achieved this results. Thank you so much.